Are you sure? That question comes up really often. If you say almost anything with confidence, somebody's going to say, well, are you sure about that? And it's even more the case if you're talking about spiritual things. Somehow we've equated the idea that if something is done by faith, it means that we're just guessing about it, or we think it's so, but there's no real basis for it. Think about the fact that when the Apostle Paul would write different things to us about living for God, how many times he would say, I know him in whom I have believed, and I'm persuaded that he is able to keep that which I have committed unto him against that day. For we know, he said, that all things work together for good to those who love God, to those who are called according to his purpose. Paul wasn't doubting about those kinds of things. He was absolutely sure about it. Well, how did he get that kind of certainty? Well, think about two strains of evidence that could be there for it. In Romans chapter 1, where Paul has talked about the nature of the gospel and how he's indebted to everybody and how God is longing for people to come to him. And in that context, he said, the invisible things of him from the creation of the world are clearly seen, being understood by the things that are made, even his eternal power and deity. Now, he said, we can know this. And as a matter of fact, he said, if one doesn't recognize that God is there and that you can know by looking at the creation that God is alive and well, he said, it is so true and so obvious that a person is without excuse for not being able to see it. No wonder, in light of that David would say in two different ones of his Psalms, the fool has said in his heart, there is no God. But somebody says, but Leon, we can't see God. No, because God is spirit. But how then do we know? We know the same way we know many things that cannot be touched or felt or experimented with, but we know that they're true based on the evidence that is there. And the evidence for God is all over the place. Think about David in Psalms 8 when he said, when I consider the heavens, the works of your hand, the moon and the stars that you have made, what is man that you're mindful of him, or the son of man that you visit him? You've made him a little lower than the angels, and you've crowned him with glory and honor, and you've put all things under his feet, and you gave him to have charge over all the creation. When David looked at the things that God had made, he was amazed at the evidence for God. Listen, our world shows the fingerprints of God everywhere you look. And he said, I want you to know I put my image down here in the form of man. When God said, let us make man in our image and after our likeness. And so he created them male and female in the image and the likeness of God. In us, we have the image to be able to see a whole lot about God. We can be sure.